Hey guys out there. So if I had 3 tips to give you for growing mature deer, I wanted to hit on those and they're behind me. Number one is maximizing food per mouth. Now there's a lot of talk actually. What made me want to do this video is that a friend of mine who mentioned they were putting out some type of specialty feed or block actually in this particular person's case. That was really helping the deer's antlers grow. And without getting into the science behind that, I'm not saying it does or doesn't, but it's hard to quantify that. However, I would like to talk about what we do know. And the one thing we know is that we have to maximize food per animal on the landscape. So whether that's planting more food plots, reducing the number of deer, doing more timber work, managing old field, or a combination of all of them, which is what we like to do on our farm. We plant a ton of vitalized seed and we do a ton of timber work. That's what our main focuses are right now, and we manage does. So that's what we do to try to maximize food per mouth on the landscape. In order to do that, over time, you start to see better antler expression through epigenetic triggers. If you're interested in that further, I highly recommend Mississippi State Deer Lab Strategic Harvest Systems by Dr. Steve Damaris and Dr. Bronson Strickland is a really good book that goes in detail about epigenetic triggers and how if we reduce stress and increase nutrition, we can have better antler and weight expression on those particular whitetails. Number two tip is talk to your neighbors. There's a lot of people out there. The neighbors are the enemy. You got to worry about all these different things. I have not experienced that. I'm sure some people have horrible stories, and I'm not trying to take away from those. But in my experience, if you buy a new farm, get permission on a new place, whatever it might be, if you get a chance, I'm not saying go out of your way, go crazy, but if you get a chance, talk to that neighbor, explain kind of where you are. Don't be pushy, but just be kind. Explain where you're coming from. And in my experience, almost all of our neighbors have been really open and actually been excited to kind of explain back to us what their goals are, right? And we've kind of come together and trying to manage. And obviously, if you can manage, 100 acres, or you get 3 or 4 neighbors together, now you're managing 1,000 acres, you can make a big difference on the whitetail herd in that area. And everybody's going to have different levels of financial commitment and time and what they're able to do as far as trigger control and whatnot. But at least getting on the same page can be beneficial. And lastly, age. I mean, I know there's always the, hey, if I don't shoot that, my neighbor will argument, but that's where number 2 comes into play. But if you can get these deer to 4, 5, 6 years old, I can tell you, I don't care if you're in the worst place in the world for whitetails, or at least in the United States, or the best place in the world, getting the deer to a mature age is the best way to let them express their antler potential. So I'd love to tell you, just plant a food plot and you're going to grow a big deer, or put out a block of food and you're going to grow a big deer. But in actuality, it's a culmination of things that's going to impact you and your hunting and your family's hunting in the future. So if you implement those 3 things as best of your ability, I promise you're going to see better results in time. So get outside, enjoy the outdoors, guys, and check us out at vitalizedseed.com.